Hi guys, I'm actually doing this video because I want to send some cuttings to a plant friend. There is a lady who has a channel called Ordinary Plant Girl. She's also Canadian and her name is Steph. And last year I sent her some cuttings and she actually did a Hoya update video and I was watching it and I thought, you know what, I should send her some more cuttings. I wrote to her and yes, she said she'd love some cuttings. So I thought we would do double duty today. A lot of my Hoya need to be trellised and I thought I would take a look at the plants and see what I could cut that I could send out to her. So I hope that's something you'll enjoy. Let's get started. Hi guys, my name is Grania and this is my channel Jungle Flowers Canada. Thank you so much for joining me. I have a couple of plants here. There are some I would love to send her cuttings of, but they are putting out new growth and I can't cut them. Well, it's not that I can't cut them. I find it impossible to bring myself to cutting plants that are putting out new growth. I don't know if anyone else is the same. But I just brought out a couple. I took a couple of cuttings of plants that hang around my house. And in her video, she said she had absolutely no luck with the Hoya Crimson Princess. She actually said that she noticed there weren't very many big plants of this. But of course, I have a humongous plant of this. And it is probably, I would say it is definitely in my top 10 favorites. So I decided that I would give her a cutting of mine and hopefully she will have some more luck with it. I just love my plant. It's hanging in my kitchen window and I admire it regularly when I'm sitting having meals and cups of tea. So I'm sending her this cutting. I will pop in a picture of mine. It's absolutely huge. It's actually growing across my window and I love it. So I'm hoping that this will inspire her to love the Crimson Princess again. What else have I got here? So I have to look up the name of this because I know it changed. I think it used to be called, not Pachaclada. Guys, I can't remember the name of it, but I will look it up because I do definitely have the name of it because I featured it in previous videos. And mine is doing really well. I have it in pawn. So I thought I would send a cutting of that. I will pop the name on the screen. Now I don't think Steph uses pawn. So if it's not too heavy, I might pop in a little bag of pawn for her to try. If it's too heavy, obviously postage will be ridiculous, so I won't do that, but that's kind of my goal. Here we have the Hoya elliptica. Mine blooms all the time. It's absolutely gorgeous and I love the veining on this plant. I'm hoping that you can appreciate the veining there. I hope you can see it. And I have this planted in soil and it hangs in my dining room window, which isn't the brightest window, but she's doing fantastic. So I felt she was definitely one that was worthy of a gift. This here is my latifolia, and this is the one, if you watched my video where I treated my plants for mites, this was the one that was not growing. Nothing would happen with it. And I put the sulfur on it and she took off. And she now has a huge tendril with a couple of leaves on it, the Hoya latifolia. I also took a cutting of my Hoya mint coin for her. So I showed you this in my video last week and I took some cuttings for myself. But this one was ready to cut, so I thought I would take a cutting of that for her. And I don't believe she has the polyneura. Now my silver polyneura is not ready to cut because she's putting out new leaves, but I just thought I would send her the regular polyneura and maybe next year I will send her another bundle again and send her some different plants. This here, I love this plant. So this is the Burmanica, and if you watch Bazzy's plants, I call him Nero. No, he's not Nero. Miro. I sent him a picture of Robert De Niro because I keep mixing up his name. Miro loves this plant and this is a prolific flowerer. She flowers all the time. Again, she's in my window. My dining room doesn't get a huge amount of light, but she's happily growing away. And then this here is my Hoya Australis Lisa. So these are the cuttings that I've taken already. I will take some more cuttings of other plants and these are the ones that I will send to her. So let's do a little bit of trellising work. This here is my Hoya Finlaysonii. Oh, I cut something else. Oh, here I have, I'll show you that in a moment. So I love my Hoya Finlaysonii. She is a beauty. I do have two of them actually, but I have one in my Fabricor cabinet and one in my retro cabinet. So I thought we would trellis this today and we would take a cutting for Steph. Whoops. Now hopefully Steph has received her box by now, because I'm recording this on Friday. So you actually, if you watched my video this morning, I'm recording again this afternoon, and I'm going to mail these on Monday. So hopefully she'll have them by Friday. If she hasn't, at least she has something to look forward to, right? So I'm going to take a cutting of the Finlaysonii. Very pretty. I love this plant. So let's see if we can trellis this baby. I don't have a huge selection of trellis, but I do have lots of these. My daughter bought me a load of these for Christmas or my birthday, I can't remember. And I thought, let's try these. Actually, does she need a bit of water? No, she's watered. So I'm going to try this. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. Now these come with clips. I can't find the clips. What's new? This is the story of my life. I don't know where I put them. Now I don't know where I put the green tape. Oh, there it is. So I have this green tape. This is just cheap tape that I bought in Dollarama. I do have the stuff you buy from Amazon, which is like a little bit better quality. And of course that's missing in action as well. I am an undiagnosed ADHD person. So years and years ago, I used to work in the schools, and my friend used to say to me, you have ADHD, you should get yourself diagnosed. And of course I never did, because I actually can be very productive. And in work, I was a property manager, and I could do 10 things at one time, no problem. And I actually believe that's got to do with my ADHD, but the downside of it is I lose stuff all the time. But give me any task and I will do it. So we were talking, I was home in Ireland when did I go home? July. And I met up with her and we laughed. I said, remember you said I had ADHD? And she said, you definitely have ADHD. I said, I'm beginning to think you're right. But I'm not going to put at this stage. I am what I am. But one of the downsides of it, even though I'm self-diagnosing, is losing stuff. And I lose stuff all the time. Now there is a theory, and I don't know if there's any truth to it, that you should counterclockwise your tendrils when you're trellising them, because they, for some reason, like that better. So let's try that with my Finlaysonii. Now if I had the clips, wouldn't this be so much easier? Yes, it would. So let's take this beauty. So this sits in my Fabricor cabinet, and I did actually have it on hooks kind of trailing up the back of the cabinet, but now it's getting a little bit crazy in there. So I thought maybe it's time. I put too much pressure on that, so now that I'm actually going to top it up with a little bit of pawn, because the trellis is not that steady. So let's trellis there. And maybe put this piece up the top. Actually, it does look prettier. I think if I trellised them all, instead, at the moment it's a little bit helter-skelter in there. It's like there are like tendrils everywhere. So I think that definitely looks a bit prettier. And I have my pawn here. So I think I'll just put a little bit more pawn in the pot to steady up the trellis. Yeah, there we go. The Hoya Finlaysonii. Here is another one that we can give a cutting. It's so prolific. Paula gave me a one-leaf cutting of this. Now it's probably been 2 years, to be fair. Just is gorgeous. This is the Hoya Parviflora. Now I'm not actually going to trellis her because she hangs in my Fabricor cabinet on one of the hooks at the side, and she does very well. She has lovely speckling on her leaves, and in my opinion she is a fast grower. In fact, I haven't actually taken cuttings of this, I can see. This is still the single cutting that I got from Paula. So let's take a cutting of this first. The Hoya parviflora. Is it Splash? Yeah, Hoya parviflora Splash. This plant I love, and I don't think I have a section I can cut on this yet. Because this is the Hoya Rhyme. She is gorgeous. Isn't that stunning? Look at the variegation on this plant. But this one I would love to send her a cutting of, but all of the new growth have new leaves, and these leaves will die if I cut them. But there's always next year. People ask me on YouTube, do I sell cuttings? I actually don't. I don't like selling. I used to sell back in 2018 when I first got into plants, and then I just, do you know what, the hassle of selling, like packing up plants, shipping, then if they die, it wasn't as common back then as it is now, and people's expectations were much higher. The effort is far greater than the reward. So I stopped selling plants. So I'm hoping these will look better in my cabinet. I explained to you in my video last week that these pots are no longer available. I love this pot, but I have an idea. I do have some of my DIY pots downstairs, and I was thinking I might spray them white, and I might put like a little band-aid or something on the front of them and then peel it off, so I will have a water indicator. This is where ADHD comes in so handy, because you're always trying to think of solutions to stuff. I think I might do that until I can get more of these pots, because I just love them. There's new leaves coming on this, so I'm hoping that they don't die now that I have trellised it. I'm doing this for Steph because, you know, she's a plant friend, she's a small YouTuber. I feel the struggle. It's a lot of work to make these videos, so I just thought this would be a nice little gift for her. There we go. We have the Hoya, what did I say this was? Hoya Rhyme. This used to be very expensive. I bought this from Paula. I can't remember what I paid for it. Probably not very much, because we know how generous she is. But it used to be a very expensive Hoya. And she's pretty gorgeous. Pretty gorgeous. Next up we have my Hoya Nova Ghost. I'm hoping, I do have a cutting outside, but it started to root, and I'm going to use these little plastic containers to send them to Steph. So I know I'll damage the roots if I stick it through this. I can't even talk today. If I stick it through here, I'm going to take a cutting. I do actually have a cutting here that I can take. It's only a small cutting, but I'm sure Steph will appreciate it. This is a great grower. She's quite a prolific grower as well. So there is the Nova Ghost. Okay, I'll just use these because these are actually kind of tidy, aren't they? They're not too cumbersome. And they actually push right down to the bottom. So the Nova Ghost is actually the reverted Argentea, and my Argentea has put out 3 cuttings and they have all been reverted. So I chopped her again, chopped her back to the variegated leaves, and she's actually doing absolutely nothing at the moment. I'm hoping she will put some more growth out, and she's just not going to be a 2-leaf cutting forevermore. Paula and I actually bought her together, and we are like living in hope. However, we do love the Nova Ghost cuttings that come out of her. Of course, that doesn't meet our expectation. We were hoping that we would get a couple of Nova Ghost, or not Nova Ghost, Argentea Princess cuttings, but so far no luck. And I've had her quite a while. We must have bought her, God, many months ago. yeah, I don't think it was last year, but it would have been the beginning of the year. We were very excited, but no joy as of yet. When the cutting I have in the kitchen roots, I will pop it in here as well. So I'm going to just put this down and hopefully. Now Kevin from Hakuna La Planta always says, if you aim them down, they will throw out another new growth here. So I'm hoping that that is what will happen. But let's just pin it all the way down here to see if I can get it to actually grow around the trellis. It probably will, that tendril probably will die, but we will give it a shot. I remember when I first got this, I think I bought a one leaf cutting of this. I did, yeah, I bought a one leaf cutting of this off of Paula. And she has been doing very nicely since. So the Hoya Nova Ghost. This is my Hoya, I was calling her Michelle, but I heard Kevin calling her Michaela, I think he calls her. It is not the splashiest one, but it's still gorgeous. Look at it. So again, this was a one leaf cutting I got from Paula. Oh, there was a look, I took a cutting of it, but the cutting's not doing well. Oh, I wonder, is she too far gone to save? Yeah. I should have put her separately. I shouldn't have put her in here because actually sometimes I forget to water this. I won't be able to take a cutting for Steph because there is nowhere to cut. I do have actually another cutting in there that did take off, but it's just a one leaf. Let's trellis her. My room over there, I know I'm pointing and you're like, I don't know what you're pointing at, Grania. That used to be my dining room and it's really small. There's 8 of us in our family. So when I was having dinners, and we have dinners a lot, we are very close and we do have Sunday dinner and things like that. And I just couldn't fit everybody in. So this is my living room. I have told you this before, but if you didn't see those videos, this is actually my living room and I turned it into my dining room. And it was the best thing I ever did, because we also have a family room. So we watch TV in the family room. We have the old dining room, which is for my grandchildren, and now my living room is my dining room, which I absolutely love because I gained this fantastic window for my plants, which used to have a sofa in front of it. So it was a win-win situation all around. I love it. But anyway, this sits in the window of my old dining room, which is now, we call it Quinn's room. Quinn is my grandson. And it's actually loving it because I had it in my Fibercore cabinet and it kept putting out these little black spots. And Paula was here and we were talking about it and she said, I think it's getting too much light. So I took it out of the cabinet and I put it in the window and it actually seems to be so much happier. So if you're noticing that with yours, maybe you could try something similar. Now this is a fairly new tendril and I really don't want to lose it, but the reason I'm actually doing this is because it had wrapped itself around my Kentiana and I had to untangle it. And again, I'm going anti-clockwise. Wouldn't it be fantastic if she took off and gave me leaves all up this trellis? She is a stunner. Is that a new growth point? It is. So you know the way you see woody tendrils and sometimes you're inclined to cut them off? There's actually a new growth point coming out of a woody tendril here. I'll show it to you in a moment. Make sure if you are going to cut them off that you make sure that they are fully dead. Okay, so the Hoya, what did I say, Michaela? And I don't know if you can see, you may not be able to see, but there's a woody tendril there and there's a tiny little leaf coming out of it. I don't know if you're able to see that or not. My last plant is my Hoya Wilbur Graves China. I've shown you this before. Some of the leaves are beautifully variegated and some not so much, but she's still lovely. And if you know me, I don't mind if they're not super splashy. So this, you can see I can take a cutting from the top here. It isn't the splashiest part because I have been cutting her back at the splashy parts to see if I can generate more of those splashy leaves. So I can't cut because I have them all cut up already, but you'd never know. She just might get some splashy leaves from this one. So this is the Hoya Wilbur Graves China. There also is a Wilbur Graves Russia, and I know at the beginning all the talk was about the Russia. You know, the China was kind of the no-name brand per se, and I actually have the Russia as well. But to me, I can't see much of a difference, and to be honest with you, my China gives me better variegation. At least it has sections of better variegation. Okay, I can't seem to bend this to go that way, so I'm going to put it here, and then I'll try just trellising it across to bring it down anti-clockwise. So it's kind of fun in my cabinets at the moment. All these tendrils are flying everywhere. It's pretty crazy in there. I also cut my Matilde. This is my Hoya Matilde. This was the very first plant I bought off Paula. Can you believe that? This was how we met. She came to my house with a cutting. We actually did a trade. I traded her a Sarawak because at the time both of these plants were hard to find, and that was the beginning of a beautiful friendship. This piece here is dead, so I'm going to cut it. Actually, there's 2 dead pieces here, so I'll just cut them off. You can see the difference between a dead tendril and a woody tendril. I also have this. My daughter bought me this. It is for holding test tubes, and it's great for popping these in when you're taking cuttings. So we shall pop them in here. So the first plant is the Hoya Bermanica. I may misspell some of these, so forgive me if I do. So we're just going to take off the top. I will put a link in the description for these. They are great if you're taking lots of cuttings and you don't have a lot of space. I'm going to fill that up. And then you put your lid on, and then you push your cutting in. There we go, the Hoya Bermanica. I will wrap these up on Monday morning and take them to the post office. This is a Reneoensis, I believe. So let's, how do you spell that? I have no idea. Reneoensis. You're going to have to look that one up, Steph. I spelled it phonetically. So there's a nice little care package heading out to Steph. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. If you watched till the end, don't forget to put the green heart emoji in the comments. That's actually quite a tongue twister. And thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you again next week. Take care.